Hello, this is D-Boy from West Coast Uncensored. Let me take my glasses off. I wear my sunglasses at night like Marco Stunt on the Jericho Cruise. God, I heard that. I watched that. That was very good. But man, I could see the reflection. I don't want to get that reflection in my glasses on the screen, so I'm going to remove them um, and go forward. How's everybody doing with D-Boy at West Coast Uncensored? Like I said, I was off for a little bit. I had a viral infection. Kind of took a week off. Last video, you could hear my all that stuff in my throat. Didn't sound good. Got much better. Feeling much better. So we're gonna hit it back. West Coast Uncensored, off and running again. As you can see, and move my head. You see that a little bit up there. What's hanging up there? It's Cody Rhodes, the roller coaster up there with the Thronebreaker t-shirt, because this is coming at you for the very first time. We're going to do it, and we're going to start doing this weekly, is our AEW Dynamite. It's not a preview because it's already happened. We're going to do the show and kind of go over what was good and what was bad about it, or what was good, and kind of go over what happened during Dynamite this past Wednesday. AEW Dynamite, which is every Wednesday on TNT. Doing big things, established itself as the second biggest professional wrestling brand in North America, and actually now has a multi-year deal with TNT, and now is getting paid, and within the first year of this product is now profitable. This is unheard of, and they're bringing those who are following it, and definitely want them who have not, that are love professional wrestling like I did and kind of left it. I left professional wrestling. If you go back and get on go on Anchor and look at some of my old videos, you'll see I kind of gave the story how I got hit and hooked into professional wrestling as a little boy. My grandfather, man, I used to watch professional world. It was called Big Time Wrestling in Central California on Fresno in the studio show. Definitely, I got introduced in the territory. I know the territory days, so I go way back in the territory days. Been around. Left in 2001. You know, when WCW fell and sold out, I left in 2001 because I tried to watch 2 weeks, but I just wasn't down for the monopoly, and stayed away for a number of years. You're looking at 14, 15 years. I just came back in 2017 years, 2018, kind of the end of 17, came back, started watching some New Japan, ROH, kind of got connected into the ROH, New Japan, even MLW. Started watching that and got my love back, and then started attending the PCW Ultra, which is a huge, great indie show here in Southern California. Probably every like 6 weeks to 7 weeks, something like that, or almost once every 2 months. It's about 5 or 6 shows a year they have, and it's usually around full house. Around 1,000 people always come out. Great shows. A lot of wrestlers that you would know had definitely been through PCW Ultra, and now I want to linger into bar wrestling and go into some of the Southern California. There's a huge indie wrestling scene in here, so I found my love back for it, and then started, watching it again, and then fell in love with the Elite and started watching it, and went, and then here I am, AEW, back on TNT, something I loved back in the day. I remember back in the day in my early, when I was a teen. Back in those days, I used to watch Georgia Championship Wrestling, and then it became Jim Crockett. They had a few different changes happen. There's some history to that, but we won't go all in. This is our AEW kind of review, not preview, review. We're going to review what happened last Wednesday night. Let's get started. I'm going to do this every week. I won't do it on Saturday only. Maybe I'll do it on Friday, possibly Thursday, but definitely try to do it every week for you guys. I want to thank all of the partners that I have here. Like I said, westcoastuncensored.com is alive and well. Get on westcoastuncensored.com, and what I'm going to be looking to do is, if anybody would want to share their business, and I would put their business on my website for $10 a month, and then I would advertise your business on my website and allow you to, advertise your business, man. Anybody who would hit me up on westcoastuncensored.com, and I would definitely share that and get your business up on westcoastuncensored.com. I advertise it for $10 a month. That's it. $10 a month. You can't beat that, man. And we'll definitely give it on our website as we grow and stuff, and definitely share. Um, so that's kind of what something that we want to do. WestCoastUncensored.com. It's D-Boy. I have some pictures up there. I got some pictures of me there with Daga and Tessa Blanchard. Definitely, if you see my little, I'm getting a new logo going back there. You can see I'm going to be put on my other, if you watch this, because we're just not professional wrestling. We bring NFL, NBA, and then I had NBA, Major League Baseball. I had some jerseys up there for the Super Bowl preview show that I did. And then I'll be putting some baseball stuff up there because I got a lot of baseball jerseys. I go to a lot of go to Dodger games, and a lot of my definitely go on giveaway nights and got many jerseys given away. So I will tack them up. But I'm going to get working on with a friend of mine. Definitely working on a logo and have a great idea for a logo. That's going to go up here as I've kind of created a space. I used to do this in another part of the house, but I created my own space in my own area now for that. I'm going to upgrade some other stuff and equipment, but we're going to do that. So West Coast Uncensored, alive and running. You want to be part of this movement, man. We're West Coast Uncensored, baby boys, baby girls. Get on West Coast Uncensored. Listen to it. The best of NFL, the best of the NBA, best of Major League Baseball. I'm the best of professional wrestling, and we may add things in between because I definitely want to get connections. If I get some other people talking some stuff and knowledge, I love to have guests on here and definitely do those things and talk and bring knowledge to people, and definitely a positivity. Sometimes, in the scene, we get a lot of negativity, especially in the professional wrestling arena. Negativity, man. I ain't about that negativity. It's about positivity. If you don't like something, just don't watch it. If you don't want to hear something, just don't hear it. You don't have to down talk it. A lot of warriors, but I know back in the day you get face to face, they ain't warriors. A little wimp food going on. You know what I'm saying? That's punk stuff, man. And I ain't about doing that stuff, man. It's about community. It's about meshing the community. It's about a unity within the community. It's about positivity. If you like something, great. If you don't like something, you don't have to go and gag and maggot on it, man. Just be positive. A lot of people, man, just negativity about things, and that's a whole different thing. And I've mentioned it before. I don't play, man. I just really don't play and don't have time for people playing play pretty stuff and trying to be negative. Life's not about that, man. All I have to do is put on the news and listen to the media and listen to what's propagated to us every day through those reasons, and then you're going to hear, why do I want negativity? It's tossed at us daily. So I try to break that trend of negativity to bring some positivity. So here goes the AEW Dynamite, Wednesday Night Dynamite review that was at Cleveland, Ohio. First time at Cleveland last week. So how the show started was it opened up with Jon Moxley coming through the crowd like he always does in his hero welcome, coming to the ring through the crowd. Big pop, Jon Moxley. He's definitely taken his character and who he is to another level in AEW and having the independence to go to Japan and do some of the things that he likes to do and be the character he wants to be. And Jon Moxley's well beloved as he's setting up there. As you know, Jon Moxley just a few Dynamites ago was stabbed in the eye by Chris Jericho in the Inner Circle beatdown. So he came in with his eye patch and definitely came to the ring and got a hero's welcome and talked about that he knows he was. So one of the things that he said was he knows that stuff's for real, and that the Inner Circle and Jericho's for real after getting stabbed in the eye, and going for this world title is definitely something that is for real, and he's going for. So as he was interacting with the crowd, then Jericho came out, and Jericho definitely, this became a promo of them going back and forth. Jericho telling him was stupid, that he had the world given to him in his hands and all he had to do was join the Inner Circle. And of course, of course the heel thing. And Moxley's there. He was telling him it's stupid. He even told him that he seen how Damper or how his mom looked, and that he would have to holler at her later. He said he did see her, and he did have to apologize for what he did to Moxley. And then he said, and then told her it was her son. Her son had every opportunity not to go down this route, but he chose to go down this route. So it was his fault that he got stabbed in the eye. And he said, I had told your mother that. So what happened was that they went back and forth, and Jericho called out the Inner Circle, and then they all came out. And then Moxley said, do you think I'm stupid enough to get a 5-on-1 beat down like you guys did before? And then Moxley he goes, I'm not that stupid. And then Moxley ended up um, mentioning the fact that he is Ohio native and that it wouldn't be 5-on-1. It would be the whole house because all his people are Ohio, and this was at Cleveland, and they would got his back, and that energy would got his back. So Moxley didn't feel like he was in a disadvantage. What happened was they ended up having a run-in. Moxley went out of the ring. Actually, they brought 5 other guys that were street thugs that said they were connected to Ortiz. Definitely came out with a Puerto Rican look. It was actually pretty cool. And so it was 10-on-1. Moxley runs in at him. He actually DDTs or paradigm shifts Ortiz. And then security comes out for AEW and they get involved. And really nothing happens. It's totally broken up and separated. There's a couple times Moxley got away and then went and attacked him again, but no real beatdown by anybody except the paradigm shift. Moxley was able to get on Ortiz, and then so both had to be separated. So AEW security separated, so they got separated. This is how Dynamite started. A hot angle to it's definitely. The show was different this week. It was good, and I'll get into that. But it definitely, what it's doing every week, and this is what people, you're not going to have new guys come in. You're not going to celebrate them. This is 52 weeks of TV. You have to be creative through 52 weeks. Some shows are going to be better than others. But one thing's that in professional wrestling that's kind of been lost over the number of years is the fact that storylines matter, and they're keeping their storylines. So what the show did and what the beginning did, because the match is still 28 days away. It's actually 4 weeks from today is that pay-per-view where Moxley and Jericho, as Moxley is the number 1 contender at that pay-per-view called Revolution, which is sold out in less than an hour. Jericho and Moxley will be going at it 4 weeks from today on the 29th of February, and this is going to be the payoff for this feud. And so they kind of went at it, got separated, went back and forth. Moxley left, went through the crowd, and that's how that segment ended. There was some good bantering going back and forth. Jericho telling him that he has some very, very funny lines, telling him that he couldn't bat an eye, he couldn't move his eye because he got stabbed in the eye, and that he couldn't wink, and that that Moxley, he may have to contact Moxley's mom a little bit later because she was looking good, a little dapper outside. So he did kind of throw that out there, but it was good, and it was. But they got 4 weeks of still. You got the 11th, you got the 18th, or the 5th, the 19th, and the 22nd, and 3 or 4 more Dynamites to sell this. So it's kind of how are you going to keep pushing the storylines? But they did. They celebrate the storylines as we go forward. You're getting Moxley and Jericho, and this wasn't the end of this. We would see them later as the Inner Circle in a 6-man tag would be. Jericho will be and the Ortiz and Santana in a 6-man against Private Party, and Darby Allin is the main event tonight. So that's kind of how that segment ended to start the show. Definitely, let me get my glasses. I got some notes here I got to look at and got to go back and let me get this back into. So that's kind of what happened. The Inner Circle came in, and then it kind of ended and went to that. The next match was the Bucks versus the Butcher, the Blade, and the Bunny. And you know what? Very good match. It's setting in heat because what happened last week at the Jericho Cruise when it was on, as you know, that the Jericho Cruise is that MJF is, and it started out a very good vignette that I had seen earlier the day on social media, a vignette where MJF and Wardlow had went over to actually went to a slaughterhouse and met up with the butcher and the blade and also the bunny and gave him an envelope with which said the Bucks on it, which he was paying him off. He wanted revenge because last week on Dynamite, of course, it was a little super kick party on the expense of MJF's. Since Cody couldn't touch him, Cody one-upped him and had the Young Bucks come up and got a little super kick party on MJF. And when they were done with the super kick party, MJF went swimming on the Bucks party list. So what they did was they tossed him in again, Kangen water. I was talking about Seaver, the best water in the world. Remember this. There's no water like Kangen water with multiple uses that you don't have to have chemicals in your house for anything anymore. For any cleaning aspect, you don't. The best drinking water, the best cleaning water, Japanese product around 48 years. And just barely touching the hem of the garment of the United States. But 20 to 25% of Asians have it in their house. Best thing going. Great. If you're thinking entrepreneurship, it goes with this. But back into my review. Once you drink this water, nothing else satisfies. Just letting you know that. This is 100% truth. I wouldn't trade my best investment was to get a water ionizer from the best in the world, which is a magic Kangen. But anyways, so the blade tossed him in. So he wanted to get back. So they set this match up, which was this. And you know what? I really do like the blade. Why I like the blade and the Butcher and the Blade is they're an old school tag team. If you watch the way they wrestle, they're not the flippy, they're not the lucha libre style of a lot of flipping and athletic ability, but they're that old style that will wear you out, work on body parts, totally work on that body part, maul your body part, and maul you, and then beat you down. And they're old school, and both of them actually really, to me, complement each other. The Butcher and the Blade. Actually, the Butcher plays in a rock band. He's actually, I believe, a bass player for a punk band. And I can't remember which punk band it is now, but he is. I think he was trained also by Bloodsport, by the Wade Barrett. I think he was actually trained by him. But anyways, and the other guy, if you don't know, is actually the Bunny's husband. But anyways, so it's a good match. The styles are different, so it definitely got the thought over. Within I think the 8 minutes and 45 seconds, they were able to get the win. Not dominated. My only thing with this, a little bit, it was very good. I like the Butcher and the Blade. Of course, I love the Bucks. But what's happened with the Butcher and the Blade is the fact that they have lost a couple times in a row. So you kind of take that mystique out. There's dominant heel team that will kick your tail. And you definitely have to get that back sometime because they lost to Cody. They've already lost to Cody and Darby. And then a few weeks ago, and now they lost to the Bucks. MJF wasn't happy. Actually, MJF was on the broadcast and talking about this during the announcement during Dynamite now. And he's so good as being a heel. MJF was just going at it with Shivani and just, his one-liners. He's just that old school heel and cut a promo. But anyways, when it was all said and done, the Bucks did get the pin in 8 minutes and 45 seconds. Kenny Omega came down, and here's the thing: it really this match was to propagate what's going to happen with the Bucks to further the feud and the storyline with the Bucks versus Omega and Page, because they were attempting to beat them down. Kenny Omega came flying in, caught a V trigger on the Blade, and following him was Hangman Page, who came to the ring. This is funny. Hangman Page, and they're really building Hangman Page up well with this whole thing, this whole identity they're giving with the drinking and him not wanting to be a part of the lead. He comes in, hands his beer to Matt Jackson, who looks like he didn't really want to take it, but he handled him, and then he did his shotgun clothesline, which caught the Blade, which took his head off. It was a really excellent move. What it did was really push the feud that looks like it's going to come out. I wouldn't doubt at Revolution we see the Bucks versus Omega and Page for that World Tag Team title. I'm just kind of interested what's going to happen out of this. The Page and Omega, how long they'll keep these titles, because it really looks like Page is going to turn heel. But I think you could keep him babyface now because he's over now. And I heard some other rumors that in the long run he's going to be the champion. I don't know how true that is. I think Omega needs a title run, maybe even Moxley. Because there's some good singles people, definitely top notch there in AEW. But really, really pushed that and definitely showed MJF is not happy. He is so angry what happened in the cruise, and then he's so angry that he paid off the Butcher and the Blade and they didn't get the job done. So what happened was that's what happened. He came in and then grabbed his beer back from Matt Jackson and just chugged it and was on his way again. So there's definitely some heat building. It's like you could see something's not right between the Elite and Kenny's trying to hold this up because he is half the tag team title with Hangman Page, but it's like he's definitely brothers with the Bucks. I mean, this is the Elite brother. And Page kind of sees that and recognizes that, and he's not definitely even though he did help out and give the buckshot lariat, he's definitely, you could see the division with him and the Bucks and the pushing back of him and the Bucks. He's keeping it cool with Kenny, but he's also propagating that he won the titles by himself. So there's definitely some heat in building a storyline. I wouldn't doubt that Omega and Page defend the title at Revolution against the Bucks. But how long they're going to keep it and what's going to do with this next storyline is going to be interesting to see what happens. So 8 minutes and 45 seconds, they get the win, and that they move on. The very next match we're going to move to is the women's match. Nyla Rose against Big Swole. As we know, the weakest part of AEW has been the women's division. You got to fix this. Definitely have to somehow fix this. Some people really didn't think this was a good match. I thought it was good. I do like Big Swole. I do like Nyla. Sometimes, when you're really green and you're coming out and your opponents make you. And that's why the way to do it was you had to have heels versus baby faces, because great heels will make great baby faces, and you can't have not one to another, and you got to be able to set it up and allow that to work. I thought the match propagated it showed that Big Swole's definitely got some arsenal, and she had Nyla reeling. She ended up winning the match, I believe, in 8 minutes and 35 seconds. 8 minutes and exactly 8 minutes and 30 seconds. I thought the match was okay. But like I said, the women's division is definitely something that's a work in progress. This is a new wrestling company where people really want to just put down thumbs. And say it's new. It takes time. They're really strong in other aspects. The male part, they're really strong in the tag team and singles. They're very versatile. They do all kinds of styles, which I like. It's just not one. You're just not getting one out of it. But definitely, we know that the women's is the weaker link. A lot of people don't like Rio. My thing with Rio is you can tell she's been around, and you can tell she's had a lot of in-ring work. If you really watch her, she's brilliant in the ring. People don't like her. My only thing with Rio, she's just not there enough. If you're going to propagate and you're going to have a world champion, you definitely have to keep going. Hello, this is D-Boy from West Coast Uncensored. Let me take my glasses off. I wear my sunglasses at night like Marcos down on the cruise. God, I heard that. I watched that. That was very good. My God. But, man, I can see the reflection. I don't want to get that reflection. Let me take a break real quick and we'll resume this.